Brec. Hey, congratulations on being part of this film, The Man in the White Van.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
These movies are these are the type of stories that, we are always been warned about as children. But let's hear it from you first is what initially drew you that you wanted to be part of this project?
I think there's a couple things. First of all, it being based in the 70s, like as an actor, getting to be part of a period piece is always super exciting. But then the true crime element to this was very enticing, just that it's based on a true story. And I didn't like you said, I feel like as children, we're always like naturally like there's this stereotype of white vans being scary and dangerous. And I had no idea there's an actual serial killer that got his victims through a white van. So I think um, telling that story is really interesting.
What is your outlook now knowing about this white van? I mean, there's always a creepy factor, especially knowing this, and they're all over the place,
Yeah,
actually.
I know. Especially I'm here in Texas where like everyone like there's a lot of work vans and work trucks and I'm just like they're everywhere. Honestly, I'm probably even more aware of them now. I remember on set when they first showed up with the white van, which is kind of the antagonist of the film, which is funny because it's an object, it's not even a person. But we were all just like so shocked and it really felt like a character on set with us.
Now, your character's actually I'm not sure how you relate to the character because she's just a growing teen, want to like flirt with boys, and playing Margaret and dismissing her sister. Could you tell us about the enjoyment of playing Margaret in this film?
Yeah. Well, Annie being our hero, I think it's very easy to, like with a first read of the script or first watch, to see Margaret as just like the bratty older sister. But obviously, like I had time to sit with her and craft her into being what I considered a real person. So I don't see her as a bratty older sister. I see her as wanting to connect with her younger sister, but there's a lot of opposition and being insecure and trying to find like what makes her real and the honest, heartfelt elements of her was really fun. And also, I love a good comedic relief. So getting to add little bits of comedy whenever able was really fun, and having Margaret be that was so fun to be.
It is kind of interesting, is because as a sister, Margaret is very dismissive of Annie, which now these days, we always try to instill that believe all women in this case, not the cry wolf aspect.
Yeah, no, for sure. But I think there was a bit of a cry wolf aspect because Annie isn't always honest. And so that adds to the opposition again, because when she's being honest, they don't believe her because she isn't always honest. But with something like this, that's so important. And I think it's good to take away from the film is like hearing people out and like always, especially with something this intense.
Now, did in thrillers like this, there's always lots of running around. Did you do your own stunts in the film like this?
I did. We did reshoots for the end of the film, and they got a stunt double. And I think they used her for like one shot, but like otherwise, it was me and Madison in there grinding it.
Now, what you mentioned at the beginning of this interview, you love the period pieces itself. Now, being on the set of this production, what impressed you the most about that 1970s period?
Oh gosh, there's honestly, we were filming in a tiny little farmhouse in Shreveport, Louisiana. So even just like stepping onto that house, it felt like a blast of the past. I have to give props to our costume designer, Tiger. Her and I really like, specifically with Margaret, her being so feminine and girly, like researching that 1970s fashion, and most of the stuff we were wearing was properly vintage 70s. So I feel like things like that add so much to a film, and like as an actor getting to put on real vintage clothing, and it's so much easier to get into character.
One last thing, Bert. We warn about the stranger danger, but it's funny. It's because today, we have, Uber drivers we get into a stranger with. We open the front door when DoorDash arrives, which is stranger delivers, or even contact strangers and we carry conversations with strangers on social media or dating apps. What does this say about our the younger generation today, rather than the warnings of like the white van of the 1970s?
I know we do. We live such in a different day and age. And I feel like, yeah, there's a lot more opportunity for those like scary circumstances. But fortunately, with like the access to instant communication, I feel we're able to like protect ourselves in those situations and also just like more awareness. I think in the 70s it was very taboo and people were just like very naive to things like this happening. But with news and Instagram and Twitter, we're more aware of the scary things of the world, which I think there's a protective element to that.
Well said, Breck. Thank you very much for speaking to us about the man in the white van. It's
Thank
such a
you.
delight. Thank you. All right.